Recently I did an update in our PU meeting to show off some of the work I've been doing on the new automatic river placement tool, which is going to allow our artists to populate entire planets with water systems in a very simple process. And Jared saw it and asked me if I could present it again for an Inside Star Citizen episode. So here we are. It's time to look at automatic river placement. The first big improvement I've made to the river placement tool is an overhaul of the UI. I've split up all of the stuff it can do into separate tabs. So we have the manual river placement here, the automatic river placement, a view of all of the rivers currently on the planet. We'll visit this again later. View, which is how we can enable or disable various debug view modes. And debug tools, which is just a collection of various other things that I sometimes use to make sure that my tools are working properly. If we go over to create river, the next biggest improvement I've done is river prediction. What the river prediction does is it has a look at kind of the rough direction water would travel if you were to place a river under the mouse. What this allows us to do is look at the general direction of the height maps, the general shape of the watershed, and roughly how long a river will be. As you can see, as I move my mouse across the planet, we can see different positions are more effective than others, and different positions lead to longer or shorter rivers. This is microtech, so there's no oceans to flow into, but the aim would be on Hurston, for example, most of our rivers should either be finishing in the ocean or large lakes or basins. What the prediction doesn't do is take into account the intricacies of the terrain that may prevent a river from actually spawning that location. So this is used as an indication of where the river might go, and then our more in detailed erosion algorithm can work out whether the river actually goes there. I'm going to attempt to manually place a river here. I'm going to click. As you can see, we've now got a set of nodes. And this part of the process hasn't changed. So I'll still go down to the river, click on any of the nodes, and I will click place river, and boom, we've got our river. I can then hide the debug nodes, and the river is there in the world. As simple as that. But actually, we're wanting something a little more complex than that. We're wanting entire water systems across the entire planet. And that's what the Auto River Placement tab is for. The automatic river placement is split up into 4 steps. The first step is the gather. This looks for positions where we have a rough idea that there will be a river that fulfills certain criteria. And we use the prediction that we saw a moment ago to do this. We can change various settings, such as the target river quantity, the min macro steps, which is the number of those large steps we saw a moment ago for the river to be considered, and the number of attempts of positions it will do while trying to find these. In this example, I'm just going to try and find 5 rivers across the planet, and I'm going to say each of them needs to have at least 9 macro steps, so we're talking about pretty long rivers. We can also select which biomes we want the rivers to be able to flow through. In this case, I've selected all of them apart from the snowy ones. So when I'm happy with my settings, I will click Gather River Proposals, and the computer will take a moment over finding some river proposals for us. As this is happening, you can see red circles appearing on the planet. They are all of the proposal positions that fulfill the criteria we've put so far, so they're in the correct biome, and they have the correct number of macro steps or more. It's told me that it's found 25 potential river positions, which is awesome. So the next step is to filter them. Currently, what filtering does is it makes sure that the river isn't going to flow through an outpost. It checks that the river is valid and that the water is actually flowing along the line that the prediction thought it would. And it checks that it's another minimum length. In this case, it's 40 node steps. So I'll click filter and we'll wait for the computer to do that for me. During this process, we can see that some of the red circles will start to disappear as they're discarded if they've not met the filter criteria. Right, in the end, it's actually only found 4 valid river positions, which is fine because I put in some pretty stringent criteria. So at this point, I'm going to click Create Rivers. This is going to actually place the rivers into the world, and we know that they're already going to match a certain length and other criteria that we've put in. Now that we've got 4 new created rivers, the next step would be to commit all of them. But actually, I'm going to hesitate slightly. I'm going to go across to the Rivers tab, and I'm going to filter to rivers that are uncommitted. So this is showing me all 4 rivers that have not been committed yet, which means that they are on the planet and they are present, but they haven't been saved to data. And I'm going to go to each of them and commit them manually. So first, let's sort by length. So we'll start off with our shortest river. So as we can see, this river flows through like a woodland biome, and it looks pretty nice, but it is only 5 kilometers long, as we can see here. So I'm actually going to delete this river. Next, we'll go to the next shortest river. This one is 6 kilometers long, and looks a little better to me. I think I'm going to let this one stay. Go to the next river. Yep, very happy. 11 kilometers long, so got a good length on that one. And this one is 12 kilometers long, and again, looks very similar. So yeah, of these 4 rivers, I'm happy with 3 of them, and I'm going to let them all stay. Going forward, I'm going to allow artists to specify a minimum final length in kilometers rather than just nodes. And one of the big things that I'm going to do next is spring points. What this is artists will be able to add hint positions at various points in the height maps to say a river would look good starting here. For example, a crevice or a crack in a mountainous height map. And that's just going to mean that the quality of our automatically placed rivers is just going to be a step higher, because the start is always going to look somewhere natural rather than just starting anywhere in the middle of a field. Because at the moment it is largely random positions that it's trying and then filtering from there. So that's what I've been up to with the river stuff recently. In between fixing bugs for patches and stuff, I'm really happy with the progress I've been able to make on this, and it's really cool being able to show it off again. Hopefully we will be having a lot more rivers on a lot more planets coming to the verse very soon.
Like many features throughout Star Citizen's continuing development, River Tech continues to evolve into a robust set of tools that will bring new life and personality to any planet or moon it's used on. And you can expect more of these estuaries to branch their course of rivulets and tributaries in the upcoming Alpha 318. But up next, a look at the newest vehicle from Anvil making its debut in 317.2, the Centurion.
The Anvil Centurion is the anti-air turret of ground vehicles. This is the vehicle that you pull up when something flying around above you needs to not be there. And in 317.2, it's going straight to drivable.
The Centurion basically is the same style of the ballista, but instead of missiles, we are having a turret with 4 big guns.
In order to accommodate those size 4 laser repeaters, it has gained, in addition to what the ballista has, 2 size 1 coolers, which are mounted just at the rear.
We create a new kind of hatch so that it looks, it is central, and is not slightly going on the right or slightly going on the left. Since it's just one, we used to have just turrets with 2 S2 guns, one left and one right, and in this time we have an asymmetrical structure for having a symmetrical gun. In the interior, we also try to implement something that was not done in the ballista, like the camera. Now the camera will show part of the guns, so that you have a better sensation of where you're actually aiming without even needing to have the center of the screen with an icon that shows you where bullets are going. We have a section with all the components and one more part dedicated to the power plant.
One of the drawbacks to the ballista is that once something gets close enough to it, it becomes that little bit less effective. However, that's not a problem for the Centurion. It can engage anything at any range, but obviously its effectiveness will drop off as things get a little further away. So having a Centurion covering a ballista suddenly just makes the entire system work much better. I think that players who enjoy the more organized style of planetary warfare will have a lot of fun with it.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the latest advancements in river tech are going to allow artists to crisscross the surface of Stanton's planets and moons with more brooks and streams than ever before. That I've used almost every word in the thesaurus for river in these hosting bits, except runnel. And that the Centurion is the newest vehicle using Anvil's famous Atlas platform and makes a devastating 1-2 punch with the ballista that we all know and love. And as for where we are right now, it may not look like much just yet, but give it another quarter and you're gonna see some serious ship. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week.